Good evening and welcome to the 7th AMA session or Ask Me Anything. My name is Kangshi and I'm the moderator of the session. I'm also a member of the Pet Chef team. And this is a partnership with Thinkly. Today we have with us Akshay Patel and Nayan Shah, the co-founders of Pet Chef. Hi.
Hi, Kangshi.
How are you? It's so good to have you both. And this is a meeting that is long time coming. And let's begin. Tell us your story. How did Pet Chef come about?
Okay, so I can start here. So basically, I've been around dogs all my life. Like even when I was young, 4th grade, 5th grade, I used to take care of these stray dogs in my apartment and in my neighborhood, and take them to the doctor or build their houses and contribute money and buy them food. So give them all names. So I've named like 50 of dogs, all these pups, and kind of they were part of me growing up. And my sisters also had 5 dogs in the last 20 years, so I've been very close to them as well. And what happened was that during the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, I was doing a job in Gurgaon, and I was staying in an apartment complex, and there were this bunch of dogs that I would play with every day after work, kind of just play with them, like a stress buster for me, and also just check on them, what's happening, what's not happening types. And there were a bunch of restaurants that used to feed them every day. But during the lockdown, what happened that the first lockdown especially, all the restaurants were also shut. So that's when I realized that there is nobody to feed these dogs. And that's when I started cooking for them. So, I mean, when people were cooking, were making dalgona coffee, yeah, if you remember that, I was trying to cook up food for these treaties. And as I started doing more research into it, as I deep dived into it, I spoke to the vets that I knew. I spoke to a few pet parents that I knew, some professionals in the pet industry. And what I realized was that access to fresh human grade food for dogs is very difficult even in large cities. And that's when what started as, taking care of these stray dogs in Gurgaon turned into, an idea. Like that was a light bulb moment. And I came back to Bombay once things started opening up, and got in touch with Akshay, who's the close friend and also, has been a pet parent. So discussed it with him, and then we said, let's do it. Why not? Let's do this for our dogs.
I remember this was when we were on our way to a friend's place, and we were in the Uber, and that's when we came up with this whole idea. Nayan's like, Akshay, karna hai. We're like, chalo, let's figure this out. Sounds interesting.
And of course, we thought it was important to feed.
Absolutely. That's where it came from. And we've never fed these 5 dogs also, or for that matter, even the stray dogs that we used to feed, we never fed them any processed food. We've always fed them fresh. My sister's dogs, they've all lived up to be 15 years plus, and have been on fresh food diet all its time. And the more I spoke, the more I researched, the more I spoke to people, I realized how fresh food is important for a dog, and how it is a huge gap in the market right now. So that's when we decided that we got to do it, and that's when we started doing it.
Tell us then. Okay, so now tell us about Pet Chef. What is it? As in the meals, the products that you have. How does one go about procuring all of this?
Perfect. So what we basically do is we make fresh meals using human grade ingredients, and they're completely preservative free. And we use this amazing packaging technology called retort packaging, which was designed by NASA and the US Army back in the days. What it allows us to do is keep the fresh food fresh for a period of 2 years without the need for refrigeration or any kind of preservatives. So this is like khichdi-like meals in a packet, which you have to just open and put it in the dog's bowl. You don't need to add anything. You don't need to store it in the fridge. You don't need to heat it. Nothing at all. Just open and serve. So that's what we do. That is the core of Pet Chef. And we kind of offer 4 recipes depending on the needs of the dogs, weight loss, weight gain, old dog, senior dog, pup, etc. So they can choose depending on what life stage and what requirements of the dog are. And apart from that, one of the other signature products, as we call it, or a very important ingredient of all our meals is what is the bone broth. So basically take bones of chicken and goat, we simmer it in water for 24 hours.
Okay.
And what happens is that the broth kind of extracts all the nutrients out of the bones. We use these ligaments and bones and marrows, and it kind of makes the broth extremely healthy. And we use that as a base to cook all our meals in.
Okay.
So if you were to cook for your dog, you would ideally boil rice and vegetables and chicken in water, right? So we don't use water at all. We use this broth as the base to cook all the meals in, which has been cooked for 24 hours. So that makes the meals extremely nutritious. It adds a lot of micronutrients that are required and it makes it extremely delicious as well. So that's the 4 the meals that we do. Then we have this bone broths, which we also sell separately. So a lot of pet parents prefer cooking at home. So they just get bone broths from us that they can add to their meal, or they use that as a base to cook, or give it separately, or people make these ice cubes out of these bone broths and give it as a treat as well. So bone broth is another thing that we do. We have a topper which is called the super topper, which again is a chicken organ paste. So again, what we realized is that a lot of people who cook at home, they use the chicken muscle, like the thigh and the breast, etc. They seldom use the organs, which again is a very important part of the dog's diet. So this is like an organ paste, which you can just put on top of whatever food you are cooking at home, and like make it like a whole meal and also make it extremely tasty. And currently we have one treat, which is a single ingredient chicken jerky treat. We're coming up with 7 more exciting, preservative-free, healthy treats. And we're also launching we've already launched what are called gravies. So all the pet parents know what gravies are, but the gravies available in market today are again highly processed, full of preservatives, artificial flavors, etc. We're using the human-grade, preservative-free, freshly made concept in gravies as well. So this is like an add-on. So you make the rice at home and then add our gravy, and it becomes like a full meal. So this is what we do, and it's been a very exciting journey. The dogs are loving it, the pet parents are loving it, and of course we're very happy about it as well.
And you have a website, so people can go on the website and buy directly, or that's it?
So it works both ways. People who are sure about what they want to buy directly can go on the website and buy directly. For people who want to understand more, we also have experts who they can speak with to first they will understand what you currently feeding your dog, and then make you recommendations accordingly in terms of what you should feed and what quantities, etc., and then help you build like a subscription plan, a trial period, etc., and help you handhold and educate you on the entire process as well. So it's both.
Oh, so that's amazing. So now pet parents can actually customize their meals for their dogs and make sure that they're getting the right nutrients.
Absolutely.
Now, my question is, so how did you go about choosing the ingredients and the recipes to make sure that the dogs are getting the best?
Okay, so involved a lot of back and forth with a veterinary. His name is Dr. Kumar, and he's been the vet to our 5 dogs. And he's a veterinary surgeon. He's got a nutritionist on board as well. Runs a hospital. So with him and his team is where we came up and designed all the recipes and the contents, the quantity, etc., all of it. And that's been the process. So every time we launch a product, we do that, get the right approvals, etc., make sure that it's the right product, and then once the recipe is finalized, it's pretty much more of replicating it over and over again.
Okay, that's good. That's you have a vet on board and nutritionist. And coming back to the why fresh food? Why was it so important for you to feed all the dogs fresh food versus whatever that's available in the market? Maybe dry food or kibble.
Let me ask you a question. Tell me one species on that planet that thrives on processed food.
None.
Can't think of any, right?
Yeah, I mean, the dogs in the wild obviously just ate meat, and there were, yeah, and it was fresh.
Yeah, no, forget dogs. Any other species. Like, I mean, processed food is processed food. You wouldn't feed it to your child. Why would you feed it to your dog? And now there is a lot of research that's coming out. You can look it up. Very from very universities, etc. That talks about the benefits of fresh food and the impact of kibble, long-term impact that kibble has on a dog's health.
Mhm.
So, I mean. It's as simple. I wouldn't feed my child processed food every day. I wouldn't feed my dog processed food every day. And I mean, we were made to believe that this is the best food. Kibbles is the best food that you could give your dogs, but I kind of don't agree with it completely. And now there is a lot of research to back up our claims as well.
But as always, because I'm certain that certain dogs have allergies, so I'm sure they'll have to also consult a vet before they go about buying dog food. Correct?
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of pet parents take our recipes, take our meals to their vets, and I mean, we've never come across a case where the pets have not agreed, where the vets have not agreed to feeding our food. Unless, of course, there's some specific allergies, then we customize it. But except for allergies, no vet has come back and told us that hey, this is not the best food. This is not the right food for your dog.
Yeah, that's good. I'm hearing. So here's the thing. Your meals are chicken and mutton, and there are no vegetarian. And then, of course, there's bone broth and then the super topper. I'm not hearing any vegetarian options. Now, obviously, there are households that are vegetarian and Jain who are not comfortable with feeding their dog meat because they don't allow it in the house. So how do you tackle that?
So, the best part is that Akshay and I are both good Jews. I'm a Jain, in fact. And we've we've had a lot of battles. My sisters fought those battles already at home about making sure the dogs get the right nutrition. And dogs as a species is not a herbivore, right? It's an omnivore, so it needs a combination of meat and some vegetables for its nutritional requirement. And we've kind of developed these recipes and this packaging using these packaging technologies to make it easier for these vegetarian households to be able to feed their dogs. I mean, all you have to do is like open and serve. You can choose to keep your packets outside the house. It definitely don't need to go into the freezer or fridge or your kitchen for that matter. And I mean, it's providing the right nutrition with least amount of invasion into your beliefs. So, I mean, yes, you need to do it, but we're making it as easy as possible. But it is a requirement. I mean, my vet tells it very crudely. He says कि अगर vegetarian pet चाहिए तो बकरी ले आओ. अगर dog ले आए हो तो उनको उनका खाना खिलाओ. So that is the idea. That's what I believe. Of course, we don't say it out loud there. I can say it to you, but they need non-vegetarian food, and it is our responsibility as pet parents to make sure we're giving them the right food.
Yeah, because obviously, dogs definitely they eat meat, as in that's where they get their nutrition. They cannot get their nutrition from a completely vegetarian diet. I'm sure there are more balanced meals, but they're not getting the right nutrition.
Absolutely.
So we have a couple of questions that are coming in live. There is Chirag who said, "Can you share the story behind the inception of Pet Chef?" As in that's what you said in the first question, that how you came about it. During COVID, you decided to feed the strays, and there was a gap in the market.
Yeah.
Then there's Hiral. How do you ensure that Pet Chef meals meet the nutritional needs of different pets, considering factors such as age, breed, and health conditions?
Correct. So, I mean, if you go on our website, you'll be able to see what we recommend to what, health conditions, etc. And as I said, we have a team who will be able to understand what your requirements are and then recommend the right meal to you, the right recipe, the right quantity, what you can add to it at home, etc. So we'll help you handle it. This is, of course, based on our conversation with our veterinary surgeon and a lot of feedback that we receive from pet parents that, kind of gain information and insights from there as well. So, what are other pet parents doing? What is recommended? And then try and find a balance for you.
And why can't some people just cook it at home? I mean,
Oh, they can and they should. If they are able to cook a complete, nutritious, balanced meal, they definitely should. We're completely for it.
okay.
We aren't against the idea of fresh food. So feed it however you can. We are just offering you the convenience. Most parents who don't have the time to cook it, who can't put the right nutrition in place, we're like take our meals. It'll be easier for you. That's why the super top and the bone broth come in handy, right? People who cook at home but don't want to handle organ meat, you use the super top. It'll just help you add that additional nutrition.
Yeah, that will kind of help, because in case if you're a little squeamish about or bringing in meat, then this, you just pour it up, and at least you know that your dog is getting the right.
Yes.
Absolutely. We have to be completely for pet parents cooking for their dogs at home. As long as they're sure they're cooking a balanced nutritional meal, yes, they should totally cook at home.
Also, then, so what if the dog is used to eating kibble all their lives, and then now owners want to transition them into eating fresh food? Now, how do they go about it?
So we recommend a transition period of about 7 to 10 days. A dog's gut bacteria works very differently as compared to us human beings. Like, we can eat Chinese today and Punjabi tomorrow and Italian the day after and be able to digest all of it. But for dogs, it's not the same. But they need to be fed the same food every day, or you need to keep it as uh, similar as possible. So from a kibble to a fresh food diet, it will take about 8-10 days. The ideal transition is that you start with adding 10% of fresh food with 90% of kibble for a couple of days. Make sure there is no reaction, and then increase the quantity over the next 8 to 10 days till they have easily and smoothly transitioned to fresh food. And once they have transitioned, their gut bacteria adapted to the new kind of food that's coming into their system, then they shouldn't have any issues going forward.
What's the worst that could happen? They just have little loosies, but then they're fine, or?
Yeah. Typically, they will get like a couple of days of loosies and should recover. Dogs with weaker immune system or weaker digestion will see this happening for 3-4 days, if not transition. If they have transitioned over the 8-10 day period, then they shouldn't really see loosies as well. But if you switch it directly, then there is a chance of loosies or dogs not being able to digest the food for the first 4, 5, 6 days. So should be avoided.
So Mayuri is also asking, is there a noticeable difference in waste production with fresh food compared to kibble? I think so.
Yeah, the poop definitely smells a lot less messier, is what I would say. The quantity decreases a little bit as well. It is, if you go, there is a poop chart if you Google, you will see what an ideal poop should look like. The fresh meals will get you there on point.
And what else? As in senior dogs, obese dogs. These are okay. Let's talk about obese dogs who actually need to go on a diet. So you're saying your meals will also help the dog get to its correct weight?
Correct. So, for example, what we recommend to obese dogs is a recipe of ours called the grain-free chicken chow, which is basically a combination of chicken, muscle, organs, few veggies, which are very nutritious for them, cooked in bone broth. There is absolutely no grains. There is no major source of carb. There's no brown rice, there's no oats, there's no, and it kind of makes them full at the same time, does not give them the calories that aid to gaining weight. So over a period of time, you will see that their weight decreases and their energy level increase. So that's one of the recipes that we recommend for dogs on a weight loss journey. And then, of course, pet parents need to stop giving them all the treats as well. Or at least move to healthy treats, because that looks very innocent but adds a lot of calories to the diet. So just a little more conscious of what they are feeding their dog.
But I think pet parents now are super in tune with what their pets needs. I know that because when I've spoken to pet parents, they have a different love language with their dogs, and I know that they're very, very particular with what goes on, what goes inside their dog's mouth. So I know that a lot of people will choose better food, and this is one way.
Absolutely. And it's the way I see it is that 5 years ago or 10 years ago, people with pets would identify themselves as pet owners, and now you would see that they identify themselves as pet parents, which in itself is a great shift in how people think about their dogs, about their pets in general. So I'm sure once you take that persona of a pet parent, then you are going to do everything that is good for your dog. And pet parents are looking for options, healthy options, making sure they're reading labels, making sure what goes into their system, etc. So that's we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, now it's all dog mom, and it's
Yes.
it's lovely to see. And everyone, they know their dogs, they know what they're allergic to, not allergic to, they know what how much food also, because initially we used to just give food and whatever, whether it's chapati and milk or rice or something, just give. Now it's more nuanced, more informative, so it's nice to see.
Absolutely.
And it's also nice to see the people I've noticed looking as in they want to give fresh food rather than kibble. For some people, yes, kibble is easier, but at least they know what their pet wants.
Yes, absolutely. That's
Aman is asking, for aspiring pet entrepreneurs, what advice would you offer on building a business focused on pet care and well-being? Akshay can also answer this question.
Well, you really need to be passionate about pets. You really need to understand what the pet parent is looking for. You need to really be able to identify the market. And I think this is going to be your core. Don't walk into the market with your general products that you can just buy off the shelf, or things that just come from China which don't have good quality. Focus better on quality and a better product. It's a very niche market. It's a very conscious market. So yes, I think that should be your ideal way to go ahead.
And of course, there will be a lot of excess food. I'm assuming it's not a lot of, sorry, there should be some excess food. So what do you do about it?
So we run a zero wastage kitchen. Everything that's left gets packed into like a what we call the streety mix. So it's like a bunch of packets that we make for street dogs, and we kind of hand it over to feeders or NGOs whenever we have the excess. It makes sure that it goes all towards street dogs.
Okay, so that's good. And also, you have a tie-up with Welfare of Stray Dogs as well.
Yeah, we have a tie-up with Welfare of Stray Dogs. That's correct.
So that's good. So anybody also, if anybody wants to feed stray dogs, they can contact you?
Yeah. Stray dogs at any moment has 50, 60 dogs that they are caring for. They are always on the lookout for a lot of things, food supplies, cash donations, old toys, etc. I mean, whatever they can, they're always on the lookout for it. They're doing great job. They've been taking care of stray dogs since 1985. That's when the NGO was started. They work very closely with the BMC. They run a lot of sterilization campaign with, again, the government, and make sure that the stray dogs are not a menace and are well taken care of. They provide free health medical services for stray dogs as well. So they are doing amazing work in the stray dog space. And as somebody who's grown up with stray dogs, it's very close to my heart. So we kind of make sure we support them as much as we can and wherever we can, and we urge all our patrons, other pet lovers, other pet parents to also support them in their endeavor to make stray dogs live a nice, healthy, peaceful life. So please, guys, the ones who are listening, log on to WSD, have a look at what the work they're doing. They also have volunteering opportunities. It's a great one. You can just go on a weekend, help them with bathing their dogs or walking their dogs. And I promise you, it's a better stress buster, and you'll get a lot than, going to a pub and having a couple of drinks. I mean, this is a lot better thing to do if you can take out a couple of hours and go to the centers on a weekend.
I know. There's nothing like showing love and kindness to a dog.
Absolutely.
Ooh, quick question. Can some of your products be fed to cats?
Yeah, they can be. Something like a bone broth or a super topper or our chicken jerky treats can be fed to cats as well. Because all the ingredients are something that can be fed to cats as well. Again, we've not done the in-depth research for cats, and we might launch food for them in the future as well. But as of now, these are the three, the three products that can be fed to cats.
Oh, that's nice. Good to know. So at least there are some fresh products that cats can also consume.
Absolutely.
Do either of you have a favorite pet chef story?
I mean, there are so many of them, actually.
Nan, I think you should tell us about the Jen dog. I forgot his name.
I know. I know exactly the one that you're talking about. And since I'm a Jain, it's very close to my heart, and it's a beautiful story. So we have a customer, and I was talking to them, and the conversation went around, Jain, and how are you? How convinced my mother got convinced in allowing our dogs to eat non-veg food, and I was asking him that how are you feeding them, and he said, you know what, I still don't take your packets inside my house. And so what he does is he keeps all our packets in the boot of his car. And every day he takes his dog out for a walk. And that's where he opens one of the packets. There's a bowl in the boot as well. He will feed it in the bowl, feed him outside the house. Then the watchman kind of helps him in cleaning the bowl every day and putting it back in the car, and then brings the dog home. And he does this twice a day, every day. Because non-veg food is not allowed to enter the house. So,
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful story, and something that, we're very happy that we, at least as a pet parent, is doing everything that he can to provide the right nutrition, and we are a part of that journey. So it's a very beautiful story that I like talking about. And we've had requests for, can you please not have labels on your packets? My mother-in-law is visiting for next 2 weeks. So we get like all requests, and we can try and accommodate as many as we can. But it's very heartening to see that pet parents are willing to make that effort, and to make sure the dogs get the babies get the right food.
That's lovely.
Yes.
And also, Akshay, what is the response you're getting from a lot of pet parents after they've given their dog pet chef products?
It's been an amazing response. Parents, some of them are skeptical, some of them get worried. How is it free of preservatives for a year? The packaging, we really need to talk them through the process, educate them on how it works, how safe it is, the packaging is. But after they try it out for some time, after they see the difference, they see the dogs getting more toned. You see a lot of these dogs on kibble are very puffed up and obese, especially if they're not very active. Here they see the dog is as active, he's happier, he's more playful, and he's getting leaner. They're getting a lot more fitter. The poop story is a very common story. The smell is very less. The quantity is consistency is better. It's details that they go into. But overall, it's been wonderful. We've had very good responses from parents. We've had parents so the convenience of this packaging is something you can travel with, right? Otherwise, if your dog's on fresh food, you have to look for your meat or rice wherever you go, right? Here, you can carry these packs with you. Dogs have to mostly travel by train. Flight is not always worked for them, right? So parents have been so happy with the convenience that they just carry the pack wherever you are, just open and serve it. One pack is one meal size for them. So it works wonderfully. So the response has been phenomenal. We have we are very happy when we go to events. It's fun to see parents come and tell us how it's worked better for them. So,
and I think some of the best stories are dogs in vegetarian households whose only source of chicken has been through kibble. They've never eaten fresh chicken, and when they eat our food, and we see those, if they're able to capture that video and how the dog goes bonkers over eating fresh chicken for the first time in their lives, and it's pretty exciting. So for the pet parents, for us, but imagine being 3 years old and never had eaten actual chicken as a dog. It's and then you smell that and you're like, oh my God, what is this?
And it does make a whole lot of difference, because I mean, we are all part of the Pet Chef team, but we have Lewis, our golden retriever, and we give pet shop products, especially the bone broth. You can see a whole because it's a huge difference in the way his coat looks. It shines. He looks happy. He feels well fed. So like I said, it does make a huge difference, especially when you know that you're feeding your dog correctly.
True.
Vivek is asking, what's in the pipeline for Pet Chef?
So we started in Bombay. We have a lot of pet parents in Bombay. We're trying to take it to many more. We're trying to expand across the country. And who knows, in the next 5 years, we'll be shipping internationally as well. So that's from a point of view. We're launching a lot of products. We're taking a lot of feedback from pet parents in terms of what they are looking for, what do they need, what can we provide. Like I said, we are launching a range of healthy treats. So we're launching about 7 treats. We launched 2 gravies already. There are 4 meals. There's bone broth, there's super topper. So there are about 10, 12 products, 12, 15 products already. And we're working on product development as well, providing more healthy food products for dogs. So that's the idea. That's what we are focused on. Spreading the joy, as I like to call it.
That sounds amazing. Gina is asking, can you explain your unconditional love returned mission and how it goes beyond just providing food?
So I think any pet parent, you ask them, will tell you that their dogs give them unconditional love, right? I mean, no matter who you are, no matter what mood you are in, no matter what you've done, whatever, the dogs is always going to give you unconditional love. And our job as pet parents is to return that unconditional love to them as well. So this food is one way of providing that unconditional, returning that unconditional love to them. And I'm sure pet parents do spoil their, babies dirty with all of these. I mean, there's so many exciting things that are happening. But I think primarily good food, proper exercise, regular medical checkups is the baseline to make sure that you're doing everything right. Then there are, of course, these pet socialization events, and there are, in fact, we partner with a company that take pet parents and pets on an outdoor excursion where they take them swimming in a pond and take them hiking together, and they socialize with a lot of other dogs. And there's a lot of exciting things that you can do with your dog. But these 3, which is your nutrition, exercise, and regular medical checkups, is what we think is the baseline that needs to be taken care of.
That's really, that's showing love. Yeah, and
I
of
think
course,
nutrition is one space where there is a lot of information asymmetry, and that is one space that we are trying to solve. And our mission is to make sure that along with our food, that exercise is also important, and regular medical checkups, etc., are also very important.
And finally, from the both of you, give us your takeaways.
Akshay.
Well, takeaways from the business, from being in the pet industry, is it's phenomenal. We like I said, it's amazing working with dogs. It's amazing to meet so many dogs at all the events. You've been to those events, Kanchi. How much fun it is. We're standing there the whole day, but it's not a bother till the time we have the dogs with us. I would really insist, not because it's my business, but please feed fresh food to your dogs. That's something you should take away from this. Call us, ask us 100 more questions. We'll tell you why you should be. So yeah, that's what it is.
I think for me, my personal takeaway is the best job in the world. Like I said, you get to be around dogs all day, so it can't get any better. And the second takeaway that I thought was true for me, I realize is true for everyone, that you are learning from the dogs. The dogs are not learning from you. The dogs are always adding more value to your life than what you can add to theirs. That's my another takeaway. And I'm very happy about it. And I'm so glad people are now, the pet adoption rate has gone up so much, and people are, kind of bringing dogs home. It's a great thing against, it works best people who depression, anxiety, which is so high in this age. Like, dogs are your short uh, cure to it, I would say.
Best
But
partners.
my takeaway is that you always get from the dogs. You never be able to give as much to the dog, no matter how hard we try. They're such beautiful creatures.
I know. It's like, it's just happiness to be surrounded by that much love, and dogs is just pure bliss.
Absolutely.
Desmond would like to know, hi, Nayan and Akshay, are there certain types of fresh foods that are particularly beneficial for dogs, such as raw meat or cooked vegetables?
See, raw meat is beneficial for dogs. The problem in India is that access to good quality raw meat is very difficult. Like, there are no regulations or government, like, US has FDA, for example, which makes sure that all the food related products are certified, are treated in a certain way, the supply chain logistics, etc. There is some government intervention or laws around it. India does not have that. So feeding fresh food, raw meat is always risky. You can never be sure of the quality of the meat that you're feeding your dog. With cooking the meat, and especially with the retort, we kind of make sure that any illnesses that can be caused due to meat is eliminated. So raw meat is good, but I'm not sure if there is any place where you can get raw meat in India, which you can be 100% sure will not be, cannot, is 100% good. That's the challenge that we've seen. And vegetables, yes. I mean, dogs are omnivores, so there are a bunch of vegetables. A simple Google search will tell you vegetables that you can feed your dog and you shouldn't feed your dog, and you should just do a Google search and see pretty much standard, like, your pumpkin and carrots and peas and sweet potatoes and broccoli, and there are a bunch of vegetables that are safe. And then you will also see a bunch of vegetables that you shouldn't feed, a bunch of stuff that you shouldn't feed to your dog. And do a little bit of research, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, but always consult your vet before you put anything in your dog's. Yeah, consult your vet.
Absolutely. Consult your, but standard, unless your dog is, say, for a simple thing like a pumpkin, unless your dog is allergic to pumpkin, I don't think any vet would say no to feeding your dog pumpkin. Yeah. So, of course, if it's an allergy, yes, but otherwise, some common stuff, no vet is going to say no to. Quantity has to be in moderation, has to be good quality, has to be made, prepared well, etc. Of course, needs to be taken care of. But start experimenting at home. It's the best you can do for your dog. If you can provide a proper healthy, there are a lot of nutritionists who will help you chart your dog's diet, and then you need to follow it, and you can use that as a base to cook for your dogs at home. So there are pet parents we know who do it, and we were very happy about them doing it as well. But like that one appointment can set you up for a long period of time. You don't need to go to them every month. So if you want to do it at home, do it the right way. Go to a vet nutritionist, get the right ingredients, figure out what is the requirement of your dog, how much protein, how much carb, what are the sources of those proteins, what should be the sources of those carbs. It's a one-time exercise. Do it, and you are set pretty much for life. Unless there's a speed breaker, then you might want to go back, or you find an allergy and you might want to ask them a replacement or something. But otherwise, it's pretty much set for a very long period of time.
That's it. Wow, thank you so much. So basically, if pet parents have any questions regarding your food and their nutrition, they can call you and ask you and bombard you with questions.
Absolutely, we love talking to pet parents.
Yeah, I know, it's just a lot.
So that we might end up at their houses as well, so that we can play with the dogs too. So
yeah, any excuse.
Yes.
Anyway, it was lovely chatting with you both. This was a long time. We had to call the co-founders of Pet Chef and make sure that they talk to everybody, especially to all the pet parents. Thank you to you both for taking the time out for this session.
Thanks, Kangshi. Thank you for a beautiful session, and thank you guys for logging in and taking out the time. Great start.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Hope you guys had fun, and of course, we will be bringing you back. We'll talk more about dog nutrition sometime later.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.